listening to FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Since 1998, Lanco Group has been providing superior civil engineering solutions and advice to developers, local government and service authorities across Australia. Lanco Group is known for delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. By working closely with clients, Lanco Group is able to meet the complex infrastructure requirements for residential, commercial and industrial developments on time, on budget. Find out more at lancogroup.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
Western United, can they find something here?
Big chance, Barisha! He's done it again!
And it's a goal! Unbelievable! What about this? Dylan Wenzel-Halls, his first touch of the game. Sanchez!
Western United do claim the 3 points!
And Diamante again! Oh, he's done it! Twice! He's chipped a keeper!
Presented by Simonds. It's the Green Room on FNR, Football Nation Radio.
It's always a big G up when we hear that music, isn't it, Nick Hughes?
It is. I absolutely love it. All those old commentary lines. Feels like it's time. It's time to come back.
Absolutely. And it is time for the A-League season to finally kick off after a serious drought. The off-season, one of the longest in world football. We've been waiting for so long, but coming up, a marquee fixture on a Saturday night in Geelong, the Westgate Derby against Melbourne Victory. What a game to kick off the year.
Oh, it's going to be huge. So exciting. It's one of the longest off seasons in all of sport, let alone Australian sport that we have for our domestic football competition, and to come back with a bang. Western United, Melbourne Victory. There's been some classic games already in the first couple of years between the two teams, and I'm sure this one will be no different. There's so many storylines, 2 new coaches, loads of new players, looking towards a sellout for obviously what is a 50% capacity GMHBA stadium. It's going to be huge, and both teams probably need a response from last season as well. So they'll be looking for a big early 3 points.
Absolutely raring to go. If you want to get in touch with the show tonight, you can comment below on the live streams. We'll be monitoring those, or you can call us. Our talkback lines are 9944 9999, and the show is, of course, proudly presented by Simonds Homes, the great Australian builders, and the lovely front of shirt sponsors, as you can see in the background there. Now, I'm Josh, he's Nick. We've got a massive guest joining us. Dylan Wenzel-Halls signs for the club this season from the Brisbane Roar after making quite an impression in the last couple of campaigns. And he joins us now. Dylan, welcome to the Green Room.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your journey to get to Melbourne, to get to Western United. Who did the pitch come from? Where was the first contact, and what appealed to you about the opportunity?
Going back probably a year ago, Western tried to get me on loan to come for the season. That fell through. But, the ambition the club has, being such a young club as well, being a part of something, quite brand new was such an attractive, appealing, thing to me. And also to come and play with quality players in which, Western's possessed over the last few seasons.
John Aloisi has been a big influence in your career, signing you to an A-League club after you tore up the NPL in Queensland. Is that a big motivating factor as well?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, he gave me my first opportunity to play professional football, so I was always going to be grateful for that. And to join up with him again, is fantastic and exciting. He's always played an exciting brand of football, a clear sort of structured philosophy, which is always important. Everyone knows their roles. So, yeah, I'm excited to get going and for the season to start.
We spoke, I remember, fairly soon after you'd signed about how you really felt that that the club really wanted to sign you, and that was a motivation for you that you felt really wanted by the club. Now, having had a few months of training, how have you felt that sort of develop? How has the squad embraced you? I
think good. Obviously, changing teams can be difficult. having a good change room and good bunch of friends at Brisbane, and leaving that to Western is it was an easy transition. The boys are fantastic. I get along with everyone quite well. I think they've welcomed me and obviously been so generous and nice. So off the field, we've got a really good group. I think everyone gets on well and clicks, and that makes it so much easier to play football because when you get on well off the field, it makes it easier out there and you work for each other. But I'm really enjoying it. On the field, it's a fantastic team. You got the likes of Kilkenny, Diamante, you got Payne, Walesy out wide, Rizzo, he's a beast. So to play with, good players like that, I think we're building something, special. And, but off the pitch, I get along with the boys really well, and it's been an easy transition. Something
we were talking about on our A-League, league-wide preview last night was your relationship with a kind of target player who you can play into the feet to, and some of your best football at Brisbane last season came when Scott McDonald was up front and you can exchange those quick passes with him and run off him. Have you been starting to develop that kind of relationship with a guy like Prijovic who will present for the ball like that with his back to goal?
Yeah, obviously touching on last year, I think, my best football did come with Scotty Mack, playing with him. He was fantastic. Ball goes into him and I could sort of just play in and around him and off him. So that really helped. And, once he left, I think I missed him a lot. But, Alex is a big boy. He's huge. He's a target man. So, that's the plan, to run off players like that. Obviously, you got Deer as well, feeding balls in behind and to Alex as well. So, I think those relationships will come, the more I play with Alex and the more, obviously, we train. He's only, just joined us recently. But, for sure, I think some of my best football does come with that.
How's the competition for places been early doors in training? Obviously, we know there weren't too many opportunities for friendlies. We've now had the first game or competitive game in the FFA Cup over the weekend. It's a squad stacked with talent. You're a versatile player. You can play through the middle or out wide. How is that 5, 6, 7 player contingent showing into training every day and really competing with each other for those starting places?
Yeah, it's massive. The squad depth is, I think, that's something we've got in abundance. We've got plenty of good players and, plenty of good players in all different positions. So competition for places is hot at the moment, and, everyone wants to start round one. So I think everyone's obviously working hard towards that goal. And, when it comes to the internal games that we had early doors before lockdown ended, everyone was wanting to leave their mark, score, assist, obviously have a good game to impress the boss. And ultimately now with new players coming in towards the back end of pre-season, it's been as competitive as ever. I think everyone's fighting for that spot. And if you look at our squad, we've got plenty of players that certainly could start at a lot of A-League teams.
Tell us about the making the jump from semi-professional football to the A-League initially at Brisbane Roar. What's that experience like, going from a part-time environment to full-time, and what challenges did it present you initially?
I think the biggest challenge was obviously being in the youth team. I was there for about a year. I got told I was getting old. I was 18, I think. I got told I was getting on. And so that was obviously difficult, not knowing that, knowing how hard it is to get to the from the NPL to the A-League was something that was challenging, because once I was released by Brisbane in the youth team, I thought that could be it potentially. That might be my chance, gone. You hadn't seen many players go from the NPL to the A-League, but I think the biggest thing I just took with me was I had to work harder than the people around me. So, when everyone else was in, finished training, I'd stay out and do my extras. Obviously, I tried to train like a professional as well. Like I tried to train every day. I did. I went to the gym and trained, even if my team didn't have training that night. Because I thought were, players that I was better than in the A-League, they're training 5, 6 days a week, and I'm training 2 or 3 in an NPL club. That's not enough. So I think that was the biggest challenge. But then I guess the challenge then was to go out there and actually prove that I was worth, an opportunity in the A-League, and go out there and, score my goals and really, make headlines, I suppose. And, I was lucky that, John did give me the chance to come back to Brisbane, something I'll be forever grateful for. But, yeah, look, it's a tough time as well, because I think a lot of players just get released from youth teams and then that's it for them. They, go under the radar or, don't really kick on from there or go to the NPL and kick on. So for me, that was the biggest challenge.
Even with the kind of crazy numbers you racked up in NPL Queensland, is there ever a time where you felt kind of disheartened, like no one's watching? Because sometimes I love the NPL, I commentate it, but sometimes I wonder whether the teams are paying enough attention to the really talented players in those divisions. Obviously, you did get your chance, but was there a time there where it seemed like it wasn't going to happen for you?
I think so, especially in Queensland. I think with the 1A League team, being released from them, I thought that, it would be difficult to get back there. Obviously, it might be a bit different in New South Wales and Melbourne, where you've got numerous A-League teams. And I think, nowadays, we're only talking 3-4 years later, but, it's almost common for each team to sort of pick up an NPL player almost and give them that chance now, which is awesome to see. But, yeah, look, at times there was moments where I thought, am I even going to get noticed? Am I going to, make that step into the A-League? But I just had to obviously keep believing and, keep scoring goals. And, that was the thing that I thought, if I'm scoring goals consistently in the NPL and I'm scoring 2, 3, 4 goals a game, someone's going to have a look, or there's something's going to have to happen surely. And obviously, yeah, it did, luckily.
You mentioned being told you were getting on at 18. You're 23, so still very young at the moment, but with that experience in the NPL sphere still very recent in your memory, is that something that you feel you can, even at a young age, you can really help some of the younger boys at Western United now? I think we've got a lot of great young talent. Reece Bozanovsky, Ben Collins recently signing a scholarship deal as well. Adis Ubey, who's already represented the Olyroos. Is this something, your experience, something you think you can help some of those young boys with?
Of course, I think, being in the youth team coming through, you think that that's it, you're just going to progress to the first team. It's not the case. And in a lot of cases that doesn't happen. So, even now for players on scholarships, if they don't get their chance to play in the A-League, they don't impress, you can easily fall out of the A-League sort of system. So that makes it difficult. And yeah, of course, I think that's something I can help with, I suppose. And I think, the younger boys probably go to a bit bigger mentors, Italian mentors potentially. But yeah, look, obviously it's difficult, and I think you just have to bide your time and work hard, and just it's a cliche, trust the process, but just trust that each day you're working hard, you're ticking all those boxes properly, and you'll get your chance and rewards.
You mentioned a certain Italian maestro in that answer. We've got to ask about him. What's it like training with Dia? Because we see the little bits and pieces, the Instagram stories of him spinning, footy balls into the goals from ridiculous angles and things. Is there always some sort of, daily challenge or clinic he puts on?
He's always, whether it's trying to chip the keepers from halfway, or whether he's at the edge of the 18-yard box trying to chip the keepers, he's always trying different things, and he's fantastic to play with. He's a, like he says, Poiba, or however you pronounce it, happy vibes, happy life sort of thing. So he's always, cheerful and, loud, and, he's, when he's in the change room, he's there. So he's got a big presence about him, and on the field, he's a fantastic player, and he's a pleasure to play with. And, he can find you in those situations where you think that you may not be on, and he'll still try and pick that pass and find you. So you've always got to be ready, but yeah, he's fantastic. He's a funny character. He's a different character, but he's a good personality to have.
Well, you're not without a sense of humour on the pitch yourself, actually. We've seen it a few times, grabbing people's mullets, or, a little bit of trash talk on the field doesn't faze you, it seems. No,
I think obviously if you ask most players that I've played against, they'll say I'm not very nice to play with, and I'm a bit of an idiot to say, but look, I mean, on the field, I'm just trying to get the best out of myself. And if that's, mucking around, talking a bit of trash or touching someone's mullet that gets me fired up, and, I don't know, I think it's a way of me taking the pressure away from my game. I'm just sort of having a joke, having a laugh with old mate next to me, rather, focusing on the last mistake that I just made, or focusing on, what I, should have scored or should have not have, sort of passed. So I think it's my way of sort of taking the, taking myself away from the situation and just, having a laugh, I suppose.
I love that. On the pitch then, getting out for your competitive debut for the club on the weekend. Firstly, how did it feel to pull on the colours in a proper match for the first time? And secondly, how did you feel come, whatever it was, 70 odd minutes that you did play, obviously getting the win? What was that whole debut experience like, and what were your thoughts on your own performance?
Obviously it was amazing to wear the green and black. putting on the jersey and walking out there with a bunch of boys that we've just done a, tough sort of 17 weeks of preseason with was just sort of exciting because, it's a long preseason like you guys mentioned. And it's a roller coaster. You go through your tough days and your good days and you get smashed and get flogged, but then it's all worth it when you get to put on the jersey and, play a competitive game and, to get the win, that's most important. I know it was Western United's first ever FA Cup game. So, that's massive for the club. We're in the round of 32 now. So we've got to kick on from there. But personally, I thought I played well. I thought I ran the channels. I was lively. I thought I was dangerous. Probably could have scored another day, but I'll try and save them for Saturday.
I want to return to the trash talk stuff. Nick's asking the serious questions here. I just want to know who gives it back to you in terms of your opponents or your teammates and so forth. Who are the best trash talkers that you've come up against in your time in the A-League?
Well, in the A-League, Scott Jamieson, he loves to trash talk and give you a little bit. On the weekend, Matty Yerman was, having a little nibble at what I was saying as well. So I think everyone sort of just does it, I suppose. It was really surprising actually because you don't see it as much in the NPL. In the NPL, it's more, banter and more, I don't know, it's not as much as that, especially considering you got, full-time pros that have played at a high level or, 14, 15 odd years in the A-League professionally. So, it's pretty cool. Like I said, it just gets me away from sort of my game and, takes that sort of edge away, gives me that sort of edge and takes that pressure away.
Have you got a go-to line then to lay? If you skin a centre-back, what do you come and clip his ear on the way past? Or?
No, look, to be fair, I don't initiate it a lot of the time. I think, they'll come through. It always happens, a centre-back goes through you and, he thinks you've gone down too easy and, calls you a soft, yada, yada. So, especially when I do an older centre-back, I just, give him the old, if you had a set of legs, you would have got that, but you didn't. So, yeah, look, I don't initiate it. I don't mean to do it. It's just, like I said, it gives me that edge and it's sort of that, what everyone talks about in white line fever. You cross the line and you're serious and you'll do what you need to do to get yourself going and obviously get the result. And then off the field, I like to think I'm a nice guy.
Some of the most memorable nights in the club's short history so far have come against Melbourne Victory. Coming up to this Saturday, there must be a bit of buzz about the group to try and write some more headlines.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a quite relatively new squad as well. So do they. We know they'll be better than they were last year. They're a big club and, we want to beat them, obviously. We want to have a good, successful season. And to do that, it starts at round one and it'll be a big game. And, Geelong's a cool stadium. It's nice there. It's it's not a home game for them. That's our home patch, for a few rounds of the season. So we're excited. We can't wait. We know it'll be tough. We know they'll give us a game, but, we're going to give our all. And like I said, it starts this weekend for us to have a successful season.
John Aloisi's been saying that the group really does feel like Geelong is, that home that you mentioned for the first couple of weeks. You've had the friendly there against Melbourne City, FFA Cup game now. Do you echo the words of John as well and really feel? We were just talking obviously before we went live about I think it was both of our first times at the stadium and how impressed we were with it. So is that a thing that the group really feels that they enjoy playing in Geelong?
I think so. I think, notoriously speaking to the boys in the change room, they said that they've done quite well in Geelong. And I think, especially against the Melbourne teams, if we play at Amy Park, it's a home game for City and Victory as well. So to sort of get away from Amy Park to take those games to Geelong when we play those teams is massive for us and sort of gives us that home ground advantage and not sort of the both of us. So, of course, it's a fantastic stadium. It's bigger than I thought it was and the pitch is, good. And we started off there, well with a win against Newcastle. So, hopefully we can continue that streak in the Geelong Stadium.
How do you feel the team is going to play this season? What kind of style of football can we expect? And what is, without giving away too much, of course, what has Johnny been drilling into you guys?
I think we're going to be a very hard-working team. We're going to be, working hard both on and off the ball, very attacking-minded, and we're going to press. We're going to work hard, and we're going to collectively press, and we're going to, I think we're going to play an exciting brand of football, positive, attacking brand of football that I think will get the fans excited.
plenty of talk about a very high internal expectation heading into the season. With round one now around the corner, how far can this team go this season?
Yeah, I think all the way. Obviously, that's the plan. We don't set out to come, third or fourth. We set out to be successful, and we're going to do the best we can. I think the players we've got very demanding personalities. Obviously, the boss and Foxy are very demanding, and then you've got big demanding personalities like Kilkenny, Diamante, Rizzo, as we know, a World Cup. We brought in good quality foreigners too. So I think obviously this team is, like I said before, the depth is unbelievable. We've got depth everywhere, and we've got good young players coming through, but we've also got the older experienced players that have played at a higher level for many years. So look, I think we're going to do really well this year. We're going to be successful, and we're going to obviously give our all every week for the team. And yeah.
You mentioned Foxy there just quickly. I mean, on one of our lockdown shows a couple of months ago, we were chatting to Kilkenny, and he was saying that Hayden Fox being at Perth at Western United, previously obviously at Perth Glory with him, was a major factor in moving to the club because he's such a detail-oriented assistant and picks up stuff that you wouldn't necessarily notice. Is that something you've experienced so far?
Yeah, look, he's very detailed. He's very very demanding. It's just the simple things, like how you turn when you might be defending a long ball, how you turn and how your hips move, sort of thing. So he's very demanding and he's very detailed. And to be successful, you need those 1%ers and those details to click for you. And he's certainly bringing that.
Being a new coaching staff as well, I think John and Hayden have worked together before, but obviously I guess you didn't have the experience of the previous coaching staff, but do you feel that there's these new coaches are really sort of making their mark on the team and stamping some authority and bringing a culture around the club as well?
Yeah, absolutely. John's very detailed. He's got a clear identity of how he wants to play and a clear sort of picture, and he's very structured, and it's awesome. It's good to obviously have that structure so everyone knows their roles. But yeah, for sure, I think it's a big opportunity for us players as well, not only the coaching staff to really do well this season. And I think the coaching staff's definitely bringing their sort of brand of football and implemented that, and everyone's buying in, and that's the biggest thing.
So looking longer term for you here in Melbourne at Western United, what are the goals you've set for yourself? What are your kind of career aspirations in the kind of medium term?
Well, obviously, I'd like to score my double digits. I want to score double digits. I want to score goals and influence games for the football club, and obviously, ideally win the league. I mean, you don't set out to not win the league. And longer term, obviously, I'd love to play for my country. I'd love to play in Europe like any young player grows up wanting to do so. But I think, the biggest thing for me now is just working hard in the short term to score my goals and be successful on the field in scoring goals and assisting goals and being influential. And that will help the team obviously be successful overall.
Well, judging by this morning, I think the Socceroos could use a few goals. So it might be soon. It might come sooner than you think, mate. We should probably let you go, Dylan. But before we do you have any messages to the Western United fans who are thinking about coming down on Saturday night to GMHBA Stadium?
Of course, obviously, to the fans, I know it's going to be a little bit of a drive, but, we'll make it worth it. We'll be playing a exciting, quality, positive, attacking brand of football that will get you off your seats and excited. We're playing against a good opposition. So I think for round one, get out there in numbers and support us. It's sort of a new playing group, new coaching staff, and a new opportunity for us all to set out and do well. So the more fans we have there, the merrier.
Nice one, mate. We'll catch up with you later on in the season. Best of luck for Saturday night, and welcome to the West.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right. Nick Hughes, tickets are selling fast for Saturday night.
Absolutely, they are. So message from the club, get in quick, because like I said, there is the 50% capacity at GMHBA Stadium. Membership will get priority for tickets. So join up, membership, get your tickets.
Kids go free.
Exactly, kids go free as well. It's a day out for the family. We're kicking off summer in Geelong with a massive game, a massive round one game, and just quietly as well. The numbers from inside show Melbourne Victory fans are a bit lacking in the tickets at the moment. So Melbourne Victory fans as well. You know, we
Pick up your game.
Exactly. We want to hear that rivalry in the stands. You build up the club as, you know, the Melbourne boys are still number one, whatever the chain is. Show it.
Exactly.
Bring the numbers.
Put your money where your mouth is. Honestly, I like Dylan's pitch better, to be honest. But, you know, he's on the team, so it's been unfair.
Yeah, cool.
All right, we'll take a short break here on the Green Room, proudly presented by Simonds Homes. We'll be back on the other side with David Clarkson, who is the Community Football Ambassador at Western United. What does that mean? We're going to find out.
Absolutely.
Since 1998, Lanco Group has been providing superior civil engineering solutions and advice to developers, local government and service authorities across Australia. Lanco Group is known for delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. By working closely with clients, Lanco Group is able to meet the complex infrastructure requirements for residential, commercial and industrial developments on time, on budget. Find out more at lancogroup.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
We're this great sporting nation who has yet to embrace fully the world's greatest game. And for so long I've tried to have the game accepted. And when I'm up to the big football field in the sky, I just want people just to remember I told you so.
And suddenly the complexion of the game changes. Let's hope it doesn't, but this is the best period for Iran in the match.
Danger for Australia here, the flag's down! It's an equaliser!
You just feel for them, not just the boys, they are representative of so many people who make this game their life. It's just, I can't say anything. Right?
Especially as they have the impetus. Aloisi, Cahill, Tim Cahill has done it again! What a goal by Tim Cahill! 2-1 Australia! Oh, it's a wonderful moment in Kaiserslautern! And Tim Cahill has come off the bench and maybe won the match for the Socceroos.
You're listening to FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website dkpco.com.au or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Western United, can they find something here? Big chance, Berisha! He's done it again!
And it's a goal! Unbelievable! What about this? Dylan Wenzel-Halls, his first touch of the game. Sanchez! Western United do claim the 3 points.
And Diamante again! Oh, he's done it! Twice! He's chipped a keeper!
Presented by Simonds. It's the Green Room on FNR, Football Nation Radio.
And we're back here on the official Western United Club show, proudly presented by Simonds Homes, the great Australian builder. This is the Green Room. Every week we'll be taking you inside Western United, one of the league's newest and one of the most ambitious clubs in the A-League. I'm Josh Parrish. I'm here with Nick Hughes, and our next guest is a community football ambassador. Not only that, he has a pretty impressive playing history, and we even heard him on commentary in the last round of the FFA Cup. David Clarkson, welcome to the Green Room.
Hello, gents. Thank you for having me. I was just saying before that you set it up beautifully. It looks really nice, especially with the new away kit. Very nice.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? There's a bit of a kind of spray paint motif going down the middle of that.
Yeah.
I mind it. The blacktop and the bitumen. David, tell us a little bit about your role at the club, because I don't know if the fans watching know what community football ambassador actually means.
Well, that's a good question. Well, I only just started that role. Firstly, Chris Pelavanis, the CEO, brought me on really to deal with the Tasmanian market, guys, because I grew up there playing my junior football there, and obviously we're playing games in Tassie. Or last season we played 2 more this year in April, and then we'll play the following year. So it was really about engaging the community in Tassie, but from that it's spread now into Victoria. And look, we have a wonderful opportunity. There's some really great things happening with the club. There's a really good vibe, obviously the stadium. But my key role is to engage with the community clubs, of which we have 106 in our catchment. So the community football ambassador will be very much that, working with the clubs in a meaningful way. We're launching a program very shortly called the United Football Program that will give clubs opportunity to run programs powered by Western United at their own facility, make money, and obviously offer a service to their members. So I'm really excited about that and can't wait to launch it. So some good things happening.
So you're a proud Tasmanian, of course, and you were part of the club's pitch to Tasmania when they went down there for a couple of home games?
No, that was all done before my time.
Okay.
Did a great job, and Chris obviously dealt with the government, and the government were keen to have an A-League football team playing in Tasmania. They have a similar setup with the AFL. The state, predominantly when I was growing up, was very much an AFL state, and some wonderful players came out of Tasmania. But it's not the case anymore, and our football is the most played team sport in the state. So it's a wonderful opportunity for us, and it's a wonderful opportunity for the state of Tasmania to see high-level football. And the good thing is, guys, now that we've got our A-League women's licence, what a fantastic opportunity. So we'll take the women down there as well. So it's those young aspiring girls that are looking to play football, they'll get to see it firsthand. And it's hard. That stretch of water makes a big difference. And I know growing up there, it was difficult to move away without any clear pathway. So that's a big role for me, is creating a clear pathway into the Western United system.
Just how big was that last year? We know it was billed as a festival of football at the club. It was, the first A-League games played across the stretch of water that you mentioned. Just how massive was it, and moving forward now for the club to be going back there for the next couple of years? Talk to us about how big it is.
It was big, Nick, because it hasn't really happened before. Melbourne Victory's played some games down there, but I don't think it was a really solid relationship that was built. The fact there's government backing. Look, our team, off-pitch team did a wonderful job in a very short lead-up time. We didn't have a lot of time to get this last season organised. We've laid the foundation now. It's time to build on it. We've got a much longer run-in now. We're working really closely with government, council, all of the, predominantly the north of the state, because both of our games will be played in Launceston again, working with a community club. So, yeah, it's very exciting. It's exciting for Western United, and it's very exciting for the state of Tasmania, and not just people who play and watch football, those who don't, that can, come along and have a look.
Well, for those people thinking about making a road trip down, I mean, I personally recommend the chairlift. That was fun. We actually went down there to watch. It was a fabulous experience last year. But returning to the West, what are your impressions of the western suburbs of Melbourne as a football heartland? Because, you've lived and played in this city before in your day on the pitch, and you mentioned there are 106 clubs. It's a pretty dense community of clubs that maybe is untapped at A-League level.
Yeah, I think, it is untapped. It's the heartland of football, isn't it? It's like when Western Sydney Wanderers came into the league. It wasn't by chance that was a success. The reason for that is because people care about football in the west of Sydney. It's in their DNA, and I feel that's the same in the west of Melbourne. And that takes in Ballarat and Geelong as well. So we have a massive catchment. Yeah, it's really what we do with that. It's important that we don't talk about it, we do it. And I feel like we're making inroads into that now. It's a big job, but we don't need all 106 clubs right now. We need 6 and 7 and 8, and just build the momentum. And the jewel in the crown is the stadium and the precinct. It's something that no other club will have, and who knows if any other club we'll ever have it in the future. But, congratulations to the people involved and the chairman and Chris. It's a really exciting opportunity. Can't wait till that happens.
I don't know if you're aware of this tournament, but it's something that we've gone down on behalf of FNR to broadcast for a couple of years now. It happens with the final on Australia Day every year, and it's the African Nations Cup. And it is just the most fantastic football experience, at a grassroots level that you could hope for. I mean, a lot of the players are seriously good NPL players, sometimes played under assumed names because they don't want to get in trouble with their parent clubs playing games just before the season starts. But it is a wonderful tournament. I did notice that, Western United was the only club who had any kind of presence there. And then going to watch the NPL 3 side this year with such a strong core contingent of African Australian players in that side and building a bit of a following in that community as well, even without a home ground, that's pretty exciting cachet to develop, right?
It's very exciting. I mean, it's just multicultural city there, isn't it? I mean, we've got some Asians involved now. We're looking, there's a supporters group. Football it speaks every language, doesn't it? That's the beauty of football. It can be played anywhere, anytime. And we want to be the vehicle for those young people. And they don't have to be aspiring to be the best, or play at a professional level. We hope a lot do and can, but it's about giving kids an opportunity to play anywhere, anytime, and then to experience coming to watch, elite level football. We have a lot of positives.
I wanted to touch on the accessibility of football as part of this pitch because I've been talking to the organisers of that tournament and they say a lot of the fans that come to watch and the players that play, some of them aren't always involved in proper organised football because it's just so expensive to play, junior football for an NPL club, or some of them don't go to games because it's too expensive to get in. So are Western United looking to make football more accessible to, potentially multicultural communities and low socioeconomic areas in the West?
Yeah, well, we're not just looking, we are doing that very much, working with local councils. And I mean, on Monday, this coming Monday, I'm going out to Wyndham Council. They're running a program out there. We obviously don't charge for that. It's a difficult situation because our football in general, it's always a user pay system and it's difficult. So, we Football Australia was bang on. We got all these participants, but the problem with our game, all of those participants fund the game going up, where in AFL, the funding comes down to the grassroots. We have to change that. We have to make it, because if you're looking to really identify a male or female player, it shouldn't be about their bank account or what their parents do. It should be about the talent of the player. So we're looking at scholarship programs. We can bring players in that maybe are not in a position to be paying money, that we give them the opportunity. Why? Because they're good footballers, that's why.
In terms of, cost and sort of promoting youth, I think the club's doing some fantastic work with Kids Go Free for the home games across the A-League men's season. The academy is, 1 year in and now continuing to grow. And as Josh said, we've seen a couple of stars, a handful now have signed their first pro deals. So is that sort of an end goal with your work with some of those community clubs? You mentioned we don't need to go out and get all 106 or all in one go. But is that sort of what the work is geared up towards, exposing more and more and more young people to our game, to our club, and then getting themselves involved with a view to one day pulling on the green and black themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's done everywhere in the world. Why can it not be done here? Look, I think eventually we'll have an internal transfer system. And if you look at the big clubs in the world, like your Ajax and these type of clubs, they're actually, whilst they're a big club, but they're a production line for their players, and their club is funded by selling players. We don't really have that opportunity now with our system. I mean, some players go overseas, but that's difficult. We have to have it internally. And yeah, if we can develop players to play for Western United, great. But also if we can develop players that we can sell as a commodity, that makes sense. That's just football.
And if you can get players to, if they don't go and play professionally, at least pull on a green and black jersey at a young age and maybe turn up to a home game. That wouldn't hurt either.
Well, yeah, again, just having that clear, defined pathway where they come into the system as a 10, 12-year-old and we can monitor them. Not everyone is going to make it, but they will have green and black running through their veins. And like kids in Liverpool that might go to the Liverpool Academy, even though they go off and do other things, they're Liverpool supporters. That's just how it is. So that's exactly what we want.
I'm really hoping that, someone like Adisu Bayu or Ajak Dayu breaks through this season and gives kids in that community, in that area, a role model to look up to so that they can see themselves on the pitch. Because, how good would that be? These guys are training with the first team already on scholarship deals. Adusu's just risen through the ranks like you wouldn't believe, and he's now representing the Olyroos as well. So, that's a powerful image, I think.
Yeah, I think for all sports, but for ours definitely. And picture paints 1,000 words, But it's not. None of this stuff is handed to anybody. Is that you've got to work hard, train hard, be a good person, be a good character. And we look to identify that because it is about the character as well. But, that example that you just gave, it's wonderful for young kids looking and saying, wow, this can really happen now.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and your career. If people followed the National Soccer League or, the English divisions back in the day, they would know your name. But for younger fans who perhaps aren't familiar with your career, tell us a bit about your playing experience.
Well, there'll be plenty of those because I'm old now. Look, I grew up in Tassie and I always wanted to play football. And like many of my teammates and players that I played against, it's more often than not, if your dad's involved in some capacity. My dad, we came from the UK. They were 10-pound poms. I was 2 years of age with my sister was 5. And, I just grew up around a ball. My dad played at the Juventus, the local Italian club, and would spend many a long nights. I'd be asleep under the table while he's drinking his grappa, and back in those days, no seatbelts and just drove home drunk. And then he became a referee, which that was a little bit difficult because I'd go to watch and people would be bagging him, and I'm like, oh. But then fortunately, I was identified to have some type of ability, and I represented Tasmania at the national championships in New South Wales in Sydney, and I got chosen to go on scholarship to the AIS. So I went for 2 years in 1986 and 87, which was just a brilliant opportunity for me coming from Tassie and just a professional football environment with the best players in the country. And then from there, I started to progress, and I was fortunate enough to sign a deal at Brighton and Hove Albion in the UK. Before that, I actually played for Sunshine George Cross, funnily enough, with Ernie Merrick.
There you
go. National. And we played at Skinner Reserve. Now, Skinner Reserve back then, I've been back since, like it looks half decent. Back then, it was just the biggest, can I say, shithole. And we were playing National Soccer League game there. But it was a wonderful team. Craig Foster, Paul Foster, Damien Murray, almost Ernie Merrick chose, went and just identified all the best young players at the AIS and brought them into his system. So we had a couple of seasons there, and that was a great grounding because we were playing against big teams, Marconi, Sydney Olympic, and you learn quick, you learn very quick against those guys. Yeah, and then from there I just went on, Brighton and Hove Albion, played in Asia, came back, played 7 seasons for South Melbourne in the old National Soccer League with Ange Postecoglou as our coach, and we had a lot of success. We went back-to-back champions. We played in the World Club Championships in Brazil in 2000 against Manchester United at the Maracanã in Rio de Janeiro. So that was the best 8 club teams in the world, and at that time we were part of Oceania, so we represented Oceania. So, look, I had a good career. I couldn't have been better, of course. But going back to what I said, it's about working hard and training hard. And I came from the backwaters of Tassie. We didn't even have a McDonald's when I was growing up. But I still managed to get identified. So, you hear a lot of kids, but it's not fair, or more often than not, if you're good enough, you'll get selected. You'll be found somewhere. Not many slip through the net.
Is your career something then that you sort of touch on in your ambassadorial role now, that you can sort of use yourself as one of those examples that we've been talking about, and use that experience to put into your role, and bring in some new ideas and try and help that movement?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I believe that's the case because I've lived it, and it wasn't, the red carpet certainly wasn't rolled out. It was tough. Like really, I had to move away from home at 15 years of age. In fact, Steve Horvath was the same. He went from Geelong to AIS at 15. I found a photo of him the other day. I sent it to him. He looked like this, just like a little kid. So, I feel I can draw on that experience and coming from Tasmania where it was difficult. Like if you look, when we went back to Tassie, you can see now that it's a state it's thirsty for top-level sport. Jumping jacks or jumpers and the NBL team. I don't know if they'll ever get an AFL team. Hope not. And really they deserve, perhaps deserve, but more that it really makes sense for them to have their own A-League team, an A-League W team, because Tasmanians are very parochial and they will get behind a team. So that would create a much cleaner pathway for players. And I speak to people here in Melbourne and in Tassie, like Nathaniel Atkinson, that, he played for Riverside Olympic in the north. It was not even a big club, but the thing we've got to do now is take away that by chance. We need to start saying, right, let's look at these players and help them on a defined pathway into, elite type football.
Yeah, something I found actually refreshing about Western United's approach when they went down there last year was that they weren't pretending to be Tasmania's team. They were actually saying, you guys should have your own team. But until then, we're playing a few games here while we build our stadium. If you want to support us, great. But in the meantime, come watch us as a neutral or otherwise, because this is a quality team with players like, Diamante in it. So why wouldn't you want to come and watch?
No, that's a good point, Josh. And Chris, and we've all singing from the same hymn book there. We're not going there to, say we're the team of Tasmania. We actually want to help them and say, well, show that you can support a team and that football is very much front and centre for you guys. And that'll still be the message. I think however they do it, whether it's second division, promotion, relegation, or there's more licences handed out, I do believe, that Tasmania one day will have its own A-League football club, definitely.
Talk about the stadium and the home, whether it's a temporary home in Tassie and sort of letting them have their own thing. But obviously we've in the process of building something special, like you said earlier. How much will then that in particular help what you're doing with the community clubs and young players as well, with that whole precinct to, some people might even be living in that precinct and they can look out of their balconies and see all of that happening. So what will that do to someone in your role or future, ambassadorial roles as well?
Well, there's an old saying, isn't it? Build it and they will come. So, look, that's definitely the case, because if you've got a home that you can bring people to, you give yourself every chance of succeeding. It is difficult. I feel for Chris and the chairman, it's and everybody involved at the club, because we play in Ballarat, we play in Geelong, we play in Tassie, we play at Amy Park, and we tried to play at Lakeside, but that got bashed on the head. But this is all part of our development, and I think these difficult times will help us to grow stronger and appreciate more when we do have a stadium. But look, I think everyone gets a little frustrated and there's red tape and, we talk about it a lot. The fact of the matter, it is going to happen. And what really my role now is just to make sure that we don't wait 3 years down the track and then say, oh, well, now we should engage with the community, guys. Not too late then. Let's start now, work with them at their own clubs, and then when it's time, when we have our stadium and precinct, like you said, Nick, then there's just opens up massive opportunities for us.
Well, that's a common theme. We touched on earlier, nothing's handed to you in a professional football career, and a stadium doesn't get handed to you either.
No,
surprisingly complicated process. David, last time you were on air at FNR, you gave us a little impromptu serenade. I don't know if anybody is aware of your musical inclinations. You're a good guitarist, a bit of a singer.
Well, I'll tell you how it came about. It was, I don't know whether it was lockdown 45 or it was one, I think it was one of the early ones. It was one of the early ones. So I thought, I wasn't working. I thought, I can't just, what am I doing? I like to run, but so I thought, I can't waste my time. So I thought, I've always wanted to play a musical instrument and learn another language. So the language didn't go so well, but and I'm probably learning the guitar, if you hear it, didn't go that well either, but I tried to learn it. And I just enjoy it. It gives me, a bit of downtime, don't waste time. And but what I did, now, obviously, guys, we haven't spoken about it yet. I'm not sure if you're aware, but we play our first home game of the season on the weekend against Melbourne Victory. You know, that other team in Melbourne, or the navy blue ones?
Yeah, the Melbourne Victory, I think the Western United socials refer it to us.
Well, they're certainly at the top end of the town, aren't they? They click their Chardonnay glasses. But they have a song called Stand By Me that you would know after the game. But I've tried to, the first verse, I tried to change it up a little bit because obviously they're not going to be singing it on Saturday night, maybe when they're driving down to Geelong, and hopefully they come in their numbers. So I'll do a little bit so they can have a sing along, but then we can go into our song. So let's have a look. When the night has come and the score is dark and the moon is the only light you see, be afraid, oh, be very afraid, just as long as you see Diamante.
Bravo.
Look, it's we want rivalry, obviously, and Tony Popovich is put a really top squad together, and they plan on winning things as we do. I think Chris and the team have done a terrific job in putting a really strong squad together. And to be honest, I wouldn't want to be John Aloisi trying to pick that squad every week because it's there's a lot of depth. I think in my opinion, his challenge will be firstly just get the foreigners fit, especially Bilic, because he'll score us 30 goals. But just getting the mix right, especially in that midfield, just to make sure that it's working well, because no doubt in my mind that we have got the calibre of player to do something really special this year. So, Chris and the guys have I think, handed him some wonderful tools. Don, I'm talking about, it's now up to him to mould and massage them and get it right. And we saw some good signs when we beat Newcastle Jets in the FFA Cup. So let's hope that continues on Saturday night and we get Saturday night we get a result.
Well, we breezed past it, but I thought the song deserved a round of applause. Are you doing an encore for us?
Well, what I might do now is, because they won't be singing and we will, what song do we sing? I think we all know it. Sing along if you know it, boys. Where it began, I can't begin to know when, but well, I know it's growing strong. Was in the spring, and spring became the summer. Who'd have believed you'd come along? Oh, hold on. Along. Hands, come on, Dick. Touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline, good time. never seemed so good. There you go. Let's hope we're singing that in our numbers on.
It's hard to do a sing-along with the delay on Zoom, but I think we'll have to get you in the studio and get a proper, like, high definition, high fidelity recording of that one.
No, it's all good fun. And look, ticket sales are strong. You know, if we can't get 10,000 plus, you know, when we haven't had a lot of football, or last season we had football with no crowds and our team had to travel interstate and be in hubs and all the blah, blah. Come on, let's just rock the joint. And that's for Melbourne Victory fans as well, you know. Obviously, for me, Tony Popovich would want the Melbourne Victory fans there and almost try and turn it into a home game for them, because as we know, they play games in Geelong, so it's not like it's something, you know, totally new for them. Let's just, for football's sake, let's fill the place up.
Well, tickets are selling fast, so you better get in soon if you want to be there for round one. And why wouldn't you be? I mean, it's a pretty impressive squad that's been assembled. Dylan Wenzel-Halls was excited when we spoke to him earlier. You know, Prijovic already on the board, of course, with a little assistance from the Newcastle Jets goalkeeper. But it's going to be a fabulous occasion. David Clarkson, thank you so much for giving us an insight into your role as community football ambassador and singer-songwriter. I don't know if that's an official title, but absolutely love it. And we'll have you on again later on in the season, I'm sure.
Good on you, Josh. Thanks very much. Good on you, Nick. Well done, guys.
Thanks,
Doing a really terrific job. All the best.
David Clarkson, what a man, what a character.
Fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic. I don't think we were expecting to be doing karaoke here on the station.
Absolutely not. When I parked up in front of Ron Barassi Reserve, I was not expecting karaoke, but here we are. Love to see it.
So before we go, we've got about 3 minutes left in Q's. I want you to get into the mind of John Aloisi.
Okay.
Activate your ESP and tell us the starting lineup. Give us your starting lineup.
All right.
For Saturday's game.
I think from what we've seen in some of the friendlies and the FFA Cup game as well, I think there seems to be an early sort of first choice 11 in John Aloisi's mind. I think it will be very similar from Saturday night. Ryan Scott might see himself in with a chance to bump Jamie Young out of the goalkeeper position.
That's a competitive.
It very. I
duel for that one.
I remember quite a while ago. I was had Nick beside me, and we were sort of just looking at the Western United squad, and honestly, I don't think there's another team that has a pair of goalkeepers like Western United does.
And he's already bumped off an experienced goalkeeper for the number 1 jersey last season, so you never count Ryan Scott out. But obviously Jamie Young, he's been Brisbane Roar's Player of the Year for about a decade or something, I assume.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think that'll certainly be a position up for grabs. I think the back four conceding a goal, albeit a marvellous free kick.
I can't do too much about that.
Yeah, from Pena on Saturday, I think seemed to be working really well together. Leo Lacroix coming in as one of the foreigners looks a real beast. I know we had the A-League preview show just playing before we started, and I heard your thoughts on him, and I definitely agree.
The roles of voice of central defenders.
He looks magic. You know, Josh Risden back and fully fit, and Ben Garuccio on the other side. Certainly on Saturday, providing a lot of forward thrust from the fullback positions. I think there's a lot to like there. Tamaki Imai probably slotting in the other centre back role. Rene Krin or Krahin.
I've been told by my Balkan friends is the correct pronunciation, but if that's wrong, Rene, please get in touch.
I'm sure we'll speak to Rene sometime soon, and he can give us a proper pronunciation. But he's probably I think a bit more of a future future prospect in terms of starting.
Yeah, sometimes with the foreign players, depending on when they arrive, depending on quarantine, depending on training arrangements and how much they've played at their previous club, it can be difficult to get match fit for round one. So, yeah, I'd be surprised to see him starting at least.
Yeah, for sure. hopefully we'll see him on the bench at least. But I think the midfield three, Kilkenny looked really good. I thought on Saturday, screening that back four, Stephen Lustica and Dia in front of him, and then I think Dylan Wenzel-Halls, he said it. He was happy with how he played. I agree. He was very sharp. He might have had a couple of goals. I think for Jack Duncan's unfortunate moments in the game, he pulled off one particularly very good save from a shot from Dylan from outside the box. So he's every chance to start again, despite Prijovic coming in and scoring the winner. So I think as well as the goalkeeping position, I think that number 9 position is probably the most hotly contested position in the starting 11 so far. Lockie Wales filling his boots early with a first goal against Newcastle as well, and Connor Payne back in his more traditional winger position. Dylan Parias is going to be knocking on doors to get into that team as well. Christian Theoharis has been training well and obviously earned himself a contract, returning to Melbourne, potentially a first appearance against, of course, his former side, Melbourne Victory. But as Dylan said, I think the depth of the squad is really impressive. The quality of whatever 11 that is going to be rolled out, I think is very eye catching. The game is going to be a fantastic one. We've said it multiple times. Tickets are going. So get on it. We want to fill that stadium, obviously as much as we can on Saturday, and it's going to be a massive occasion.
We're in lockstep on the formation and the 4-2-3-1. The lineup, I think you've picked it pretty reliably. One thing I would like to see, maybe a slight point of difference, is Dylan Wenzel-Halls, our guest tonight, playing off the left flank and coming inside onto his right foot with Prijovic as the wall pass, I suppose. I think he could surprise a lot of people with the versatility of his play this season, because his reputation is as a striker because he played in the front two at Brisbane Roar, but I also think he can play as a winger, not a traditional winger, but a forward cutting inside, and I think that could be a great goal-scoring threat for the side this season. And as he said in the interview, that's where he's played his best football, is with a kind of foil up front. So I'd go Wenzel-Halls left, maybe Lockie Wales on the right. He scored. It's hard to take him out of the team. And then, of course, who else are you going to pick in the number 10 position but Mr. Diamanti?
Yeah, for sure. It's a great point, and I think just the variety of options is massive, and lucky that the squad is pretty much at pretty much at full complement heading into round one. It will be a long season. We do have the FFA Cup that is a big push for a trophy as well. So there'll be games for everyone, and 5 subs, I believe, still. Yeah. So plenty of changes in the game as well. But just looking forward to that first whistle.
I can't wait. We're going to be down there, the FNR crew, including last season's Green Room hosts, Ed Good and Athos Siriana. So if you see us at the game, please come and say hi. And can't wait for Saturday night. It's going to be a fantastic match. There's always goals in this game. It's always dramatic. 3-2, 4-3. It could be another absolute barn burner. So make sure you get down to GMHBA Stadium on Saturday night. Get your ticket sooner rather than later. So we know what happens when we go past the hour mark here is all the lights turn off. So we better get out of the green room for this week. And we'll be back next time with an A-League game to talk about. So can't wait for that. Thanks for tuning in. This show proudly presented by major sponsors of the Green Room of Western United, and front of shirt sponsors this season, Simonds Homes, the great Australian builder. You'll see their beautiful logo on the front of the jerseys on Saturday. Fantastic jerseys this season.
They are gorgeous.
If we start talking kits, we'll be here all night. We've got to go. Thank you for tuning in here on FNR Football Nation Radio. This has been The Green Room.
Western United, can they find something here? Big chance, Barissa! He's done it again! And it's a goal! Unbelievable! What about this? Dylan Parias, his first touch of the game. Sanchez! Western United do claim the 3 points. And Diamanti again!
Presented by Simonds. It's the Green Room on FNR, Football Nation Radio.